this, there is no turning back. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more. Do you know what I'm talking about?
This is that YouthSpin show. This is that YouthSpin show. This is that YouthSpin show.
Good evening, radio listeners, and welcome to the 23rd episode of YouthSpin, sponsored by the Department of Youth and Culture. Tonight, our topic is young jobs, and we have three lovely guests with us here tonight, and I'll let them introduce themselves after the break. But for now, we'll go to our first dance break.
Hey, Major Laser, Kobayashi, check, and the Viking. Axes, free up, Logi. I beg you wine and the dip so like Calypso. Wine and the dip so like Calypso. Major Laser. I beg you wine and the dip so like Calypso. Wine and the dip so like Calypso. I beg you wine on your lips so like Calypso. Every girl in the party wine your hips so. Just into the wall forward and tiptoe. Hey girl, drop your bumper back and get low. Girl, drop your bumper back and get low. Hey girl, drop your bumper back and get low. Girl, drop your bumper back and get low. Girl, drop your bumper back and get low. Also come massive, let me see you put your hand up in the air. All of the real soca fans, them let me see your hand up in the air.
And we're back, and I'll let my guests introduce themselves. Start right down on my far corner. Miss Angelina, Carty, can you tell us about yourselves?
Good evening. My name, as you've heard, is Angelina Carty. I currently volunteer with the Department of Youth and Culture, assisting with the various programs that they have here. I've been in Anguilla for about 3 years and have been working with young people in one shape or another.
Okay, pleased to meet you, Miss Carty. And Kirmani, Honor, yes? That's
Hi,
right.
my name is Kirmani Honore,
Honore.
and I've been working with Anguilla Beaches as a content creator for about 2 years now.
Okay, and our last guest, Miss Nisha Dupuis.
Greetings, my name is Nisha Dupuis, and I'm currently engaged in various entrepreneurial activities around the island.
Okay. So just a reminder, you can hit us up on our Facebook pages, YouthSpin AXA, as well as the Instagram page, and you can check out our episodes on YouTube. So tonight we're discussing the current job market for young people, and if the education young people are receiving in school today is helping them get jobs and keep them. The key question is the education system equipping students with the necessary transferable skills or job training skills to be successful in today's competitive job market? So, I'll get right into the questions. Mistress Carty, you work with the Anguilla Service Corps. Tell us a little bit about that program and how it works.
Okay, the Anguilla Service Corps is a recently new initiative under the Department of Youth and Culture. It's launched late last year, whereby it has 3 different components that look at getting people involved in issues to do with the country. So one of the first components is the volunteerism, which anybody from the age of 16 can be involved in. If you want to volunteer within one of the departments or non-government department, there's a process that will be able to help people to be able to be linked to a particular department, etc. Then you have the Youth Exposure Program and the mentoring. The Youth Exposure Program is one whereby we're looking at assisting young people who have left school and have been out of school for around 2 years or so and have at least 4 CXCs but have not been able to gain employment. And that program's looking at assisting them to be able to get attachments within government departments to help them to get the experience that they need, and by the virtue of the name, exposure to the job market, to help them to be more employable in the future. And we have the mentoring program, where there are mentors who are recruited to help on other programs that are within the department. So the Job Link Up program is another program that many people are aware of, which is trying to help those who are deemed to be young people who are vulnerable based on different life factors that have happened that have not been so fair for them, if I can put it that way. You would have mentors that would work with them to help them to get through the program, which allows them to be able to have work experience, and to be able to get training, to be able to undertake counselling if that's what they need, and also look at developing some of their educational needs. I think that's the three of them that I've spoken about that comes under the Anguilla Service Corps.
Okay, to my other guests, have you ever heard about the Anguilla Service Corps?
No, I haven't. Until tonight.
Okay, Nisha, you?
I believe I saw an article in the newspaper with Miss Angelina Carty, and they were working on Anguilla identification cards for the voting process.
Okay.
So that is where I'm familiar with Miss Carty from.
So, Miss Carty, how is this program going? Are any people succeeding in it?
Like I say, it's a recently launched program. We have got some youth exposure young people who will be placed within the next week or so. They've recently had interviews. Like the young lady has mentioned, the youth exposure young people had been involved in Elections Day, whereby they were looking at updating the register for voters. So that we're hoping by 2020, when the elections happen again, that we won't have to use such, excuse the expression, archaic procedures in terms of people having to have their fingers dipped in ink. They'll have a card that will be their identification card, and with the possibility of that card actually being used as an ID card as well, but that's still being toyed with at the moment. So young people from the Youth Exposure Scheme have been involved in that. We have had mentors who have actually signed up, and even those who were mentors from before are coming under that same umbrella. And like I said, I'm a volunteer, and I've been volunteering with the Department of Youth and Culture from last year, and I volunteer 1 day a week, every Tuesday, but I do volunteer more than that by virtue of being here at the moment.
So I noticed you said involved in the program. Does this guarantee them a job for the future? Like for the identification cards, would it be their job, or would it be...
No, unfortunately, that's not the way that it works. What it does is, like it says, it exposes them to a work environment. What we're praying will happen is that if posts become available that's within their capacity to be able to perform, that those particular departments would look at interviewing them for that post, and because they've had that experience, it will make them make it a little bit easier for them to be able to transition into that job. That's what we're praying will happen. But even with the identification update for voters, there is a piece of work that they'll continue for the next 2 weeks coming up, I believe it is, that they're going to be going around to the various departments and doing that work to its completion for that time. Whether a job will be created because it's something that needs to happen, there'll be a lot more people that will need that to happen. I don't know. I can pray.
Okay. We are aware that the program is in its infancy stage, but have you noticed any changes that you need to make for future plans? Any different way that you could go about it to get more young people involved?
Certainly. I mean, the advertising of the program needs to happen. I mean, we did the one recruitment drive. I'm trying to remember. I think it was in February that we did that alongside the Job Link Up one. And I think in future, what might be better is that we do it separate from Job Link Up. And it's not quite the same as Job Link Up in terms of it having the 6-month cycle, although young people will be placed for 6 months, but the cycle doesn't have to operate the same way, because young people can come in at different stages. It doesn't have to be at a particular set time in order for them to do it. So we could do ongoing recruitment or awareness of the program. I think that's something that I've looked at more recently. And certainly other young people now hearing about it have been telling other young people. So it's now...
So you see the interest there.
We can see that there is interest. We've always known that there was a need for it, because initially when people said job link up, well, you know, how can I get on this program? And realizing that they didn't have any of the criteria to submit them on that program, we realized that there was a shortfall in the department. Or I should say our director, Mr. Brent Romney, he saw that there was a shortfall and that we needed to look at a creative way of being able to incorporate the needs of those who weren't able to get employment but weren't deemed to be quote unquote vulnerable. So it's nice now being able to have this program and other young people knowing of this and being able to find a way in. But I think that it will be tweaked as we go along. I mean, like with anything, you realize that as you're going along, there's certain things that might need to be looked at differently. I mean, one of the things that we have got is a management advisory board that looks at the applications that comes in and makes the link between the department's requests for a placement and the needs of the young people, or what they're able to do. And that board, even we met for the first time, it wasn't last week, it was the week before, where we looked at the process and we're already fine-tuning what it is that we need to do.
Okay, well, that's really good. To my other guests, I noticed y'all have gone a bit quiet because the question probably wasn't pertaining to you. But in your opinion, do you think leaving school, do you think you have the right skills for the job market, or do you think you're ill-prepared? Anyone can tackle that one.
I wouldn't at all say that you're not prepared for the job market, because there are a lot of courses that can be taken at the Albina Lake Hodge Comprehensive School that are beneficial to the work environment. What I would say to qualify someone or to classify you for being prepared is how seriously do you take these courses, and how much time do you spend with yourself? How much time do you spend thinking and engaged in the activities in the school? So I do think that the school does a good job at preparing you.
And you feel the same way?
Yes, I think given the exam environment in the school where we work under pressure usually allows us to somehow prepare ourselves for working under pressure in the adult world. You know, completing SBAs alongside studying, alongside trying to prepare for exams and ace these exams, allow us to, when we go into the workspace, allow us to be able to complete assignments given to us by our superiors, our bosses. And yeah, I think that given our environment within the ALACS prepares us for the work world.
Okay. I know a lot of people have issues with time management. Do you think the children of today, or your peers, let's say, do you think, I can include myself here, do you think that we handle time properly? Or do you think that's an issue that needs to be addressed? And I think Ms. Carty could probably tag in on that one. Do the young people you see, maybe daily, do they possess that time management skill, or is it one of the things that need to be addressed?
From some of the young people that I've met, and certainly having young people of my own, I have 3 grown-up children and some grandchildren. In terms of time, I don't think that they recognize how quickly time goes, be it within a day or a year, or when they're going to be leaving school. It's not something that quite catches them. So they tend to drag their feet a little bit, and there needs to be a lot of encouragement. But we also recognize that sometimes that's to do with their developmental stage. You know, teenagers, young people tend to need to spend a lot more time sleeping, and that's to do with their growth and their development. You know, I mean, it's not something that they're doing deliberately. Sometimes it's out of need.
that is true. Do you see them with any developing professional skills, or some of them probably don't have any at all? What is your opinion on that?
Sorry, in their
professionalism, do they have any?
Yes, I would say yes, that young people do have professionalism when it's something that they're interested in. And I think that's the bit that we need to, you know, capitalize on. When you know that a young person's interested, tap into that. Unfortunately, I don't think our school systems always can cater for all of that. But I think that they've got, even if we're looking at the young people who are doing things that they shouldn't be doing, and I'm not advocating for a minute that they should continue doing that, but they're doing things that are illegal, that they might be in a gang or they might be dealing with drugs. I think that some of them have got some extremely professional skills, you know, and I think if we could help them to turn that around using that, that's when they might deal with time management, that they've got to drop off something at a particular time and they get it there on time. You know, that they've got to, you know, collect things a certain amount and know about how much that, a whole business is there. If we could just turn that around
into something
positive that these young people are interested in, I think they've got it.
So they're capable.
Yes.
Very much so.
So, Nisha, I know that you were also one of our debaters. I debated alongside you, and we know that you left sixth form, right? But tell us, was this something to do with a business decision, or do you think you're better able for the workforce, or do you think you was more suited into school? What do you think?
I don't think I can choose between the workforce and school. Well, at my age, obviously, having an education is extremely important. But it wasn't. My decision to leave was not because of an eagerness to be in the workforce. It was more so a personal decision. It just didn't feel right for me at the moment. So I wanted to take some time out to explore different things. But I can't. It's not to say that I prefer working than being in school. It has nothing to do with that.
So one more question on that. Do you think it is important for students leaving fifth form before they go into sixth? Do you think they should have a break to decide really and truly what they want to do? Because exam results come out in August, and when you're applying to sixth form, you have to do it in August as well. So there's a beat the clock scenario there, and people don't really stop to contemplate whether they really want to go into sixth form or if they want to work.
I think with everything, there needs to always be time to discover. There has to be some people find what they want to do through different ways. Some do it through working somewhere and they're like, I really like working in this place, probably I should go on to study this, while some people find it from just sitting in their room and listening to music. So you have to know yourself as an individual for you to determine whether you should go to sixth form right away or you should take a break thinking. What I can say is that with my personal experience, I would not have done it any other way, because there is so much that I gained through my experience, and there is so many ways that I have developed as a person. I wouldn't take it back.
Okay. Kirmani, I know you're a recent graduate of sixth form. So what have you been doing since then?
Well, during my final months of sixth form, I did apply for an internship at AnguillaBeaches.com, and I did, obviously get that internship, and then I worked part-time during during September through December of 2013, and then through about May 2014, I got a full-time job there, full-time job placement at Anguilla Beaches. So since sixth form, I've just been working at Anguilla Beaches.
Okay. Nisha, right now, are you currently working, or is it just a time out for now?
No, I am pursuing various entrepreneurial adventure. I left sixth form and I began being, it's not working, it's more of an internship kind of So
you're gaining experience then?
I engage in various entrepreneurial activities with the .ai incubator program. I was able to start my own speaking organization. I was a debater with you. It's something that I'm very passionate about. And I was, so that's, yeah.
Okay. And I noticed that you mentioned your different experiences out of school, how they developed you for something else, or what were they? What did you learn from being out of school? Or should I rephrase that one a bit different?
Yeah, go ahead. Try again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know you mentioned that you've gained different experiences since leaving school. Like, what were they? What did it teach you after that to prepare you for the job market or just for life itself?
Well, I've had the opportunity to network with various people. throughout the region with the establishment of my organization.
Your organization?
Yes, my organization.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
Well, it's a public speaking organization. It's still fairly in the making, so I don't want to discuss it too much. But it's something that I've been passionate in working on. So can you what exactly do you want to know?
Okay. Let me see if I can.
Yes.
Turn this one up. Okay.
Tell me.
You know how we all say we gain different things when we, let's say, okay, for farmers, they get their subjects. Some of them go to the job link up program during summer job training, and they gain different experiences from there. What did you gain from leaving school and getting into your internship and your different organizations? What did you gain from that?
The main thing that I would say I've gained, apart from being able to create things on my own and work with great people, would be a fulfillment of self. I spend a lot of time thinking and finding wisdom. So it's getting my energy into a right state of mind where I can go into a school system or go into the workforce, and whether it's time management or being stable emotionally. So I would say it's things from emotional well-being to, yeah.
Okay. Well, have you ever considered joining a radio show?
Yes, I am in the making of producing my own radio show along with British Dependency. Yes, it's named Finding Wisdom.
Finding Wisdom. Okay, we'll stay tuned for this one.
Yes.
And because YouthSpin is a way for young people to be able to channel this energy into something positive. And even leaving school, this could be something that you'd like to put on your resume, something to get involved in. Even if you don't want to be a host, you can be the blogger for our website, soon to come, so please stay tuned. And you can find your way. There's always something different to do. A radio show has so many different aspects which you don't even know how serious it could be.
Yeah.
But it could be something for other young people to consider. And I don't know if y'all are too familiar with YouthSpin, but do you think it would be something that young people would be interested in, to be able to gain experience or to take that time out they need to get into before they get into the job force, or consider schooling?
Anything that is beneficial to self-development, I am on board. Whether it brings in cash or not, I see beyond the monetary value. I see exactly what I can put on my resume. I'm sure Akio can agree with me when I say that to put producer of a radio show looks very good on a resume. So yeah, it's all about what you can gain beyond just the monetary value, because that will come, but take time to find yourself, take time to find your passion, and have fun.
Well said. So you both recent school leavers, tell us some challenges you had entering the job force. Was it hard? Did you have any rejections in getting the job? Or just tell us, what do you think about it?
Well, given the path that I took from like internship in sixth form towards Anguilla Beaches, I really didn't face any kind of, obstacles in obtaining a job. But I did apply for a teaching job during that summer of 2013.
Teaching?
Yes. So I am thankful, because if I chose to not stay with AnguillaBeaches.com that summer, I would have probably been jobless for a long time, because the teachers, the Anguilla board hasn't replied to me yet on that teaching application. So yeah, I haven't really faced any obstacles because of the career choice that I chose, but I knew that if I chose a different one, I'd probably face a lot of them.
Okay, Nisha, you had any challenges?
Well, because I was involved with the .ai incubator program within the school, I was able to hop right out from the school system with them. I sent in resumes to a lot of places actually, so I would be facing the same situation that Kirmani just spoke about if it wasn't for that opportunity. But the other thing that I would like to mention is this is a perk of being an entrepreneur. Whether you get a job that can bring you a steady cash flow or not, you're still engaged in doing something useful, which I think is something that all school leavers should be thinking of. What can I do entrepreneurial that can at least keep me busy, whether or not it makes money?
Okay. Ms. Carty, have any of the people, the students who are part of the Job Link Up program, do you hear them talking about any challenges they constantly face, or is it the same, I didn't get this, or...
Well, with both Job Link Up and Youth Exposure, I mean, it's one of the reasons why young people have come onto those particular programs. But we also have a Get Set Entrepreneur program as part of the department, under the Department of Youth and Culture, because that's recognizing that young people have got particular passions and skills that they want to be able to use and to develop something new. So they're encouraged to do that, and we use mentors to help them, support them, and those are mentors who are particularly from businesses, to help them to be able to get their business plans together and to get a business up and going. That's another recent development within the Department of Youth and Culture. But young people, yes, are facing difficulties in terms of getting into the job market. A lot of people aren't leaving work as early as they did before. I mean, retirement age has increased and people are wanting to stay on. That's changed. And then the job market's changing as well. I mean, the things that people were originally being trained to do or educated to do, that is not quite the same of today. You know, and particularly for those who don't have a lot of qualifications, it makes it much more harder. And Anguilla is a small place.
That's true. I was just going to jump into that topic of the qualifications. And to my two school leavers, how did your education impact that job search? Was it really, really useful in having those basic subjects? Because we know that a lot of people don't actually have the basic subjects, which could make job searching harder. So how was the experience for you with relation to the education that you had? Anybody?
I mean, there are so many people that can have X amount of subjects. And I'm sure that there are many people who have the same amount of subjects that I have. Now, what I think can differentiate you from somebody else is not necessarily your subject, but what extracurricular activities are you a part of that causes you to stand out from the other person. So being able to put a .ai incubator student, or being able to put a debater at the Leeward Islands debating competition, whether or not I have, let's say I have 5 and you have 5, but I have debated at the Leeward Islands and you have not engaged yourself in things like that. I think that is what really differentiates you from someone else, because in truthfulness, the academic aspect and with getting your subjects is very competitive on Anguilla.
That's true.
So yes.
Kirmani?
Right, and I'll have to agree. But I would say, given the nature of my, my career of not really having to compete with anyone, compete for the internship, but through writing down my resume for that internship, I can remember that the skills that I had written down, I was confident in knowing that these are skills that some people just don't have.
Okay.
Given how the extracurricular activities that I volunteered to do during school. But I can say that my education has benefited me in the job field that I am, right, as a content writer and a content creator, because it having the basic skills of like math and English, and then having compounded with A-level information technology and computer science, has allowed me to not only be able to like create like a database of like hundreds of Anguilla businesses. It has allowed me to co-write books. It has allowed me to express myself through writing different blogs of different natures about surfing trips or stand-up paddleboarding trips, and even about villas and restaurant experiences and stuff like that. So I do believe that paying attention in school and applying yourself in school and gaining those basic fundamentals of any competent adult in a workforce of English and math and expression and stuff, and arithmetic and stuff like that are very important when looking for a job.
Okay, so to tag along on that, and anyone can answer this question, do you think we're trying to pursue too many subjects in school, since we really only need the 4? Math, English, and math and English are a problem right now, but so do you think that we're pursuing too many subjects and not paying attention to the core ones?
I don't want to knock anybody that wants to pursue as much subjects as they want to pursue for whatever reasons, for praise or just because they want to pursue them. But I don't think that we should only focus on math and English and science and forget about office administration, EDPM, and information technology, or the more digital subjects that are rising in the school right now. Because when we just focus on math and English, everyone in the world has math and English. We need more subjects that allow us to differentiate from other people in the job market so we can compete with them. So it's not just about focusing on math and English and science. We need to focus on the more subjects. I mean, not trying to grab as many subjects as you can to brag about them, but grab subjects that will allow you to function
and you
in the adult world.
focus on doing as well as possible in that.
I mean, it's good to have a rounded education so that you can be competitive, but also to help you to understand what it is that you want to do. Because I find a lot of young people don't quite know what they really want to do.
That's true.
From early on. And I think it's about third form where you're being asked to choose your core subjects that you're going to continue with. They haven't got a clue what they want to do. But having a more rounded educational base allows them to explore a little bit. Okay, I kind of like this. I feel as if I'm excelling a bit more in this, so I might decide to pursue this avenue a bit more.
Okay. Anyone else has anything to say?
What I would say is that by all means pursue as many subjects as you like, if it is that it's something that you're passionate about and not just because mommy and daddy or you want to compete with Jane and Peter. If it is something that you want to do, then by all means do it. In referring to what Miss Carty just said, when we ask what do you want to do, my question would be, do we ask based on a bias system? Do we even want to know? Is it just that you expect me to say lawyer, doctor? What if I decided that I wanted to study anthropology? Is that something that we offer in the school? What if I wanted to study archaeology? Can I do that in the school? So we have a very rigid system, and we need to allow ourselves to be a bit more flexible and cater to people who may not just want to have the typical lawyer, doctor, teacher job.
Okay, and I'd like to talk about that a bit more, but we're going to take a break right now.
DYC is
promoting.
DYC is
preserving.
DYC is
empowering. YouthSpin is sponsored by the Department of Youth and Culture. The Department of Youth and Culture supports positive youth development and the preservation and promotion of Anguilla's cultural heritage and the arts.
Do you care?
Youth development.
Do you care?
Culture.
Do you care?
Youth empowerment.
Do you care?
The arts.
Do you care? Then you need to check out your Department of Youth and Culture to get involved. You can call them at 497-0969 or check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/DYC Anguilla. DYC is your community partner.
That's the YouthSpin.
And we're back. So tonight we're exploring how our system prepares young people for the workforce. And I think we left off talking about different career choices instead of the basic doctor, lawyer, teacher. I mean, I want to be a pilot, and many people think that you should pursue something that we need in Anguilla per se, and not just another job that we don't have a need for. But I do think we need pilots in Anguilla. Anguilla actually has a great success rate for pilots, and a lot of people want to get into different things, but in the school it's like the added pressure to go to this field, going to be a lawyer, going to be a doctor. So what kind of how would I say it, what kind of inspiration would you give to other young people out there who are forced to do certain subjects they really don't want to do, which don't pertain to their career choice? So what would you tell them?
I agree with you completely on that. On the atmosphere in Anguilla, it pushes us to have these very corporate jobs for this cookie cutter kind of ideal,
System.
Yeah. system of like being a doctor or a lawyer or a surgeon or stuff like that. And I think what happens is that as soon as a child says that they want to do something a bit more creative, we scare them. I want to add myself into that. We scare them into saying that, oh, it might not work out.
That's true.
And it's not that we shouldn't cut children's dreams as soon as they have them, but we should always remind them to push for your goal, but always have a backup plan, a more practical backup plan. We're not saying we're not going to cut. We're not going to shoot, your dream in the foot and just say it's not going to work out. Like I overheard this conversation once with this lady and this girl. And the girl was like, she wants to open up a chain of nail technician shops. And I thought that was a pretty business savvy, business model to work for. And the lady just like viciously like shut her down and said, that's never gonna work. You don't need to be a nail technician and stuff like that. We have millionaires that are garbage collectors. We have millionaires that are Portaloo renters. We have millionaires that are a lot of things. We don't need to be a surgeon or a doctor to be successful financially. If a child wants to pursue a dream in digital media and video production or singing or acting and stuff like that, I'm thankful that the school is now facilitating like those kind of aspects. Yeah, theater arts and digital media and stuff like that. But for the ones like us who didn't get the chance to pursue these things that now we have to learn on ourselves, the only inspiration that I would give to people my age and older and younger is to pay attention to the world, okay? We can only pay attention to Anguilla because if we make things and direct them just to the Anguillan public and the Anguillan community of like 13,000 people, we are never going to be successful as entrepreneurs or even in the business world, because sooner or later there's going to be too much doctors. They can't really hold all these doctors. They can't hold all these surgeons. They can't hold all these lawyers. They can't hold all these people, business majors with human resource major bachelors in human resources and stuff like that. So all I would say is pay attention to the world, see the direction the world is going. It's pushing for more digital direction. A lot of the kids are now becoming independent, creative, using the internet to push their product and building an audience and stuff like that. And I would advise them to follow that model, but also keep a backup in place, a more practical backup. Like my friend, like my friend, he's an amazing dancer, an amazing fashion designer, but going to school, he's going to school to major in dancing, but he's also majoring in biochemistry. And I thought that was brilliant because he says that, even though it's a small chance that he might make it as a dancer or as a fashion designer, he still has this to fall back on. And I always want people to remember that school should never be about strangling your creative process. It should always be about nurturing it and building it up into something where you can see that critical thinking. You can see that I can do this, I can do that, but I should also have this in place just in case just in case plan A or plan B doesn't work out. And that's what I can tell for people my age.
Let me add in what Kirmani just said. He mentioned about the backup plan, and it's funny because a poet, I think he's British, a British poet said in one of his poems, and I can't quote him directly, but it has something to do with, if you pay more attention to someone's backup plan than their actual plan, what are you actually saying to them? So that's something that I want us to be very cautious about, because if it is that you are so insecure about the person's first goal to the point where you're more concerned of the second goal, then do you really have faith in the first one in the first place?
It's true.
That's true. Ms. Carty?
Yes, certainly I think young people need the opportunity to dream, but to allow their dreams to become reality. And that, mechanisms and things have to change to allow those dreams to be able to come to fruition. And that each one can teach one in terms of being able to do that. I know it sounds a bit cliche in what I'm saying, but we can do it. And I, for one, I have a problem with the fact that people just want to stick to academics. Academics is not the only thing that drives the world. There are lots of people who have got businesses, who are millionaires, who don't have pieces of paper. And I'm not ridiculing pieces of paper. I went to university and I had to work really hard for me to get my vocational qualifications. It was hard work, and I'm glad that I did it. And now I feel, I might do some more, even at my age. But what I am saying is that there are young people who are not necessarily ready to be doing all of that right now, but have got skills and ability to do other things. God gave us all talents. Whatever their talents are, look at it and look at how you can enhance it and enable them to be able to reach the goals that they want to reach.
That's true.
That's good. Okay. Future plans. Anyone has any future plans they'd like to share with us? It doesn't have, you don't have to go into depth with it. It's just to kind of get a grasp of what you want to do with your life as a young school leaver. Do you plan to go to university anytime soon, or would you prefer to stay in job world, or do you want to just start your own business, something? What do you plan to do?
Well, given what I just said, I must say that I am still going to pursue a degree at a university for information technology or business management systems. But I would also, you know, given what, at my point in life, I have seen, and I've been urged and I've been encouraged to do this, and I'm actually starting out a YouTube channel and trying to build an audience so I can produce a product to sell to them. And this channel is going to be more about blogs on social issues, especially surrounding like gender equality and like gender expression and stuff like that, and sometimes comedy, because some people have told me I'm funny, and that's what I see myself doing probably.
He is funny.
Thank you. That's what I see myself doing probably for if you know, school this year doesn't come into fruition. By next year I will apply again, but if the school I don't get admitted into the school this year, for the rest of the year I do not just plan to like laze around. I plan to help develop Anguilla Beaches further with Honore Evoy, and I still plan on creating my own business and building my audience on social media like Instagram and YouTube.
So you plan to be very, very busy then?
Very busy.
Good for you.
Well, I for one, for sure, plan to take the world on my journey. So the most that I could say for right now is just stay tuned.
Yeah.
So, but for Kirmani, like you said that you hope to get to university this year. How are you going to get there financially?
Financially, okay, so my mother has always taught me that I should always have things sought out, and she has always told me not to settle for mediocrity, and mediocrity for us is subjective to what we want to do. And so I knew to come from my background that I'm not gonna have, like Dominic can say, a bolo lagia. That means a lot of money. it means a lot of money. So I knew I had to like place myself at a spot where I can get like either a scholarship or I can go to an affordable school with like a quality education. And the schools I have like applied to are schools that are in Europe, where education is affordable for international students as well as European students.
Which part of Europe, Kirmani? Tell us.
Should I?
You can. It's up to you.
Fine then. Okay, so the main school I applied to was the University of Hamburg for Applied Sciences in Germany. For international students, it's still very affordable, and it affords me not just a quality education, but just, an experience that I really want to have in my life, to say that I have experience living in Germany, going through, not just the parties like a
speak German?
I have been self-teaching myself how to speak German.
Okay, he's really ready then.
Excellent.
Yes, but no, I will not try to speak it because I sound like an idiot. But I can write it a little bit.
You could. But I mean that's good. I'm listening to what this young man is saying. It's reminding me of my youngest son, because from the time he was in the womb, he was kicking me. He wanted to be a footballer, and he was always being discouraged by him. And I kept saying to him, if you want to do this, son, do it. There's going to be different ways, but you're going to have to sometimes, take around the corner before you can take another straight to get there. And I'm really proud to say today that my son has been signed up for an Iceland football team. And he went to America, Florida, and he did his scholarship there. He's traveled, he's been playing football for Antigua in their international team. So he's managed to travel to different countries as a result of his dream, and I've never stopped him from having, every time he's felt, Mom, sending me a WhatsApp or whatever, and I'd say, you can do this. Do you want to do this? Reminding him, okay, so let's see, what round the corner do you have to take right now? Making him think about that. But you can have a dream and you can realize it.
It's true. And we also have to be thankful for mothers like this.
Yes, yes.
Because I'm fortunate to have a mother that would say that, okay, I would approach her saying, Mom, I want to go to Germany for university, or Mom, I'm gonna start YouTube. And then she won't shoot me down. She will say, okay, you need to see what's around the next corner. You need to prepare yourself for this. You need to prepare yourself for this. Do you have this in place? Are you pushing towards this? And she will never just like sweep it under the curtain, sweep it under the rug. She will constantly ask me, oh, what's an update of applying for school? Or what's the update of your YouTube channel? Even though I have never shown her my YouTube channel yet, she's like hunting every day to find my YouTube channel. And how many views do you have yet? How many likes do you have? How many subscribers do you have? Like, we need parents and just adults in general that will help nurture our children and bolster them up and encourage them to follow their dreams responsibly.
Yep, and I could probably say the same for my parents. I mean, applying for school has been a bit of a challenge for me because I didn't really decide where I'd want to go as yet. But my parents would ask, especially Daddy, he'd be like, did you check out this flight school? He sends a link, he sends a picture, he sends something. And then Mommy's on this idea, if it's what you want to do, don't worry about it. And then you complain about the subjects in school that you have to take before you get there. And it's like, if you really want to do it, you're going to push. And so I do think we need, although we can be self-motivated, we do need that motivation from other people, even if it isn't your parent. It could be a friend or a mentor, just like the Service Corps program. We all need somebody there to give us that little nudge, even when we feel like just forgetting it.
And what type of daughter would I be if I didn't mention my parents? My parents, for sure, are definitely very supportive. And I talk a lot and they listen, so that's good.
It's true.
Yes.
Okay. So, we're almost wrapping up here. And let me see. Mistress Carty, do you have anything that you'd like to tell the listeners out there with regard to the Service Corps and how you'd like to get other young people involved? Do you have anything to tell them?
Sure. If there are any young people out there who fit into the criteria with regards to Anguilla Service Corps youth exposure component, I'd say contact the Department of Youth and Culture. Please don't ask me to quote the number now, I can't remember. But contacting the public service, they'll be able to get you through. To make contact, we can get an application form to you to be able to do that. Anybody who's looking to be a mentor, from the age of 25 years, we're asking for mentors. We want people to be quite mature and have had some experience to be able to do that. And volunteers. You know, if there's anyone who's looking to do that, because there's a way of being able to support our young people and support the development of Anguilla, because ultimately that's what we're doing. No matter where it is that we're going, you're propping up what's happening in Anguilla, because something's going to come back here in one shape or another.
That's true.
Okay. Kirmani, you have anything else to say? Oh, and the number for the Department of Youth and Culture is 497-0969.
Thank you.
497-0969. Kirmani, anything you'd like to be giving some final comments, wrapping up a bit?
Yeah, okay, well, given my personal experience of trying to like build my own platform on YouTube and stuff like that, to anybody wanted to pursue something in media production or like on the radio show or anything like that, I cannot explain to you how beneficial it is to teach yourself how to use like top of the line production tools like Adobe Premiere and, you know, sometimes for
like Akio's work.
Yeah, you know, I've been teaching myself how to create stuff that I never thought, like a year ago or 5 months ago, I never thought I'd be able to produce these kind of videos. I never thought I would be able to create these kind of effects using a video. And now I'm doing them with in like 5 minutes. I'm just like, okay, I know how to do this, and it's completely self-taught.
So practice does make perfect.
Yes, and I just want to remind everyone that there is no greater feeling than teaching yourself how to do something. And you know, our parents and your grandparents, they did it by building benches and stuff like that. But I live in a digital media age, so we have to teach ourselves how to create amazing websites, and amazing videos and amazing just digital productions. So yes, just teach yourself how to do something. It's always valuable.
Okay.
What I would say is that it's great to be a dreamer, but it's even better to get up and do, get up and act. So if it is that you know that you want to do great things and you want to have your name out there, put in the work that it takes and get time to know yourself. Unfortunately, so much of our youth, and we do it, we spend so much time in with our friends, and we spend so much time in our phones that we fail to, to contribute to our interpersonal skills and to our self-development. And we can concentrate so much on getting the money now and not getting the money in the future. So spend time to dream, spend time to think, and take time to develop yourself as a person. And hanging out with friends is also great, but make sure that you have a personality of your own, and you're comfortable with being yourself. No apologies.
Okay. Well said. And I would like to thank you all for being here with me tonight. I see that we have some very, very motivational speakers right here. And any shout outs? I forgot the shout outs. Anybody has any shout outs to give? We know this weekend is Mother's Day. So to all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mommy Christine, I love you. You are my heart, you are my soul, and you have done so much for me, and I will always be grateful for everything that you have done. So big up to you, Mommy. You really want me to do shout outs now? Because I have a list. I want to take this is very strange, but I want to take this opportunity to shout out to my great grandfather, who is not alive, but I just want to shout out to him because I just feel like that man has contributed so much to who I am as a person. Shout out to my stepfather Russell, shout out to my sister Nella, shout out to Kenville over there, shout out Kenville. Yes, so that's it. And shout out to British Dependency. Yes.
And British Dependency, also to the Department of Youth and Culture for sponsoring this program. Kirmani, you have any shout outs?
Just to my mother Rosemary, I hope you're listening. That's all.
Hi, Tanti.
And Mrs. Carty.
Well, this is new for me, doing shout outs. I better get with the young thing. I'd like to give shout outs to some young people who I've been connected with and who constantly keep me in touch and help me to be young in many ways. So Anuska, Toro, some of you might know some of these young people, Angelina, Angelique, Kareem, Anisha, Alicia. These are some of the young people. I mean, there's so many others, but the ones that are on the top of my mind right now. And to all young people, you're beautiful, wonderful.
Amen.
So
this is like church.
And to
taking us back to history.
And to my mom as well, Alana Whitley. Happy Mother's Day to you and my grandparents, my grandmothers as well, and to all those special women out there who have impacted my life in more ways than one. So, thank you for listening. Check out YouthSpin every Thursday at 8 p.m., 95.5 Radio Anguilla. And check out our YouTube page. All of our shows are recorded and each segment will be posted on YouTube. Subscribe to YouthSpin for future episodes and check out the 22 previous episodes. Check out our Facebook page at YouthSpin AXA and keep tabs on our Instagram page. And this is Radio Rebel signing out for another successful episode of YouthSpin.
Wow, you guys are